Savannah Cole had always believed that love was something like the 4th of July, loud, reckless, brilliant for a moment, and then gone. She grew up in small-town Ohio where every year, on Independence Day, families gathered around bonfires, drank cheap beer, and danced under sparklers. And every year, Savannah stood on the porch of her aunt's lake house, watching the fireworks alone. By the time she was 29, she'd dated a series of men who talked big about forever but packed light for the journey. Love, in her world, was always temporary. Until she met Jackson Rivers. He was everything she wasn't looking for: divorced, brooding, quiet as a locked diary. A former Navy medic who moved back to town after his marriage imploded and his father passed, Jackson worked at the local fire station and kept mostly to himself. Savannah met him in the least romantic way possible, yelling at him for blocking her car during the county fair. "You could have left a note," she snapped, arms folded. Jackson looked at her with cool, unreadable eyes. "I was handling a fire near the Ferris wheel. Sorry I didn't prioritize your Corolla. You don't need to be a dick about it." He arched a brow. "Not trying to be. Just priorities." She stormed off, but she remembered the way he said it, like someone who had seen worse things than a missed dinner reservation. Like someone carrying weight he didn't dare speak of. Their paths kept crossing. At the grocery store, at the dog park, at her cousin's barbecue. Each time, the tension got quieter, but the air between them got thicker. One night, after too many beers and too much staring across the fire pit, Savannah finally cracked. "Why do you always look like you're waiting for something bad to happen?" Jackson took a slow sip of beer. "Because it usually does. That's a shitty way to live. That's a realistic way to survive." She leaned in. "You ever thought maybe you're not here to survive? Maybe you're supposed to live?" He met her eyes, and for the first time, something behind them softened. "That ever work for you?" She laughed bitterly. "Hell no, but I like the idea." The first time they kissed, it was raining. Classic. But it wasn't a movie kiss. It was angry, messy, two people tired of pretending they didn't care. Their romance unfolded like a storm, sometimes passionate, sometimes destructive, but never dull. But with intimacy came the unraveling. Jackson struggled to let her in. He slept with a light on. Flinched at fireworks. Never spoke about his ex-wife except to say, "She got tired of waiting for me to come back from the war, even when I was already home." Savannah was no saint either. She hated feeling like she was chasing someone. She needed words, declarations, and Jackson didn't give those freely. One night, after a fight about something stupid, like who should have called who, she finally said it. "I can't love someone who's halfway here." Jackson stared at her from across the living room. "I give you everything I can." "That's the problem," she whispered. "It's not enough." He looked down. "Then I guess you should go find someone whole." She walked out. Just like that, they didn't speak for 3 weeks. Then the 4th of July came. Savannah was on the porch, alone again. The fireworks started, loud and beautiful. But all she could think about was how silent everything felt without him. She heard footsteps, turned. There he was, soaked from the rain, heart on his sleeve. I don't want to be halfway anymore, he said. But I don't know how to be whole. She stood up slowly. Maybe we figure it out together. He nodded. One firework at a time. Yeah, she said, smiling through tears. But next year, don't block my car. He laughed, the sound cracking open the quiet between them. They weren't perfect. They argued. They healed. They kissed like they might never again. But beneath the fireworks, Savannah finally understood. Love wasn't supposed to be safe or simple. It was meant to be real. Even when it hurt. And sometimes, it was worth staying through the smoke to see the stars.